Today we are going to discuss about human heart. Here, the study of human heart is called cardiology. Cardiology is a branch of biology where the study of heart is called as cardiology. Human heart is a well-developed four-chambered heart which contains cardiac muscle. That's why you can tell a muscular heart. In human beings, heart is four-chambered, muscular. Human heart is derived from the mesoderm, so heart is mesodermal in origin. So mesodermal origin. It is thick-walled pulsating organ. Pulsations seen due to presence of valves. Thick-walled pulsating organ. Human heart is thick-walled pulsating organ. This heart is located in the mediastinum. That means mediastinum is a location between two lungs. So between the two lungs, heart is present, slightly tilted towards left. So generally it is located between the two lungs called mediastinum, but its apex is slightly tilted towards left. You can tell heart slightly tilted towards left, like you can observe slightly tilted towards left. So like we can observe human heart. So like it is a size of clenched fist of the person. Size is of a clenched fist of the person. Weight, average weight of human heart is about 300 grams. The average weight of the human beings in adult human being, average weight is about 300 grams. This heart externally covered by a protective membrane called pericardium. Pericardium is a double-walled protective covering. That double-walled protective covering protects the heart from the external shocks or external jerks, or it provides frictionless sliding due to presence of pericardial fluid. See here, heart is covered with a double-walled pericardium. This double-walled pericardium, the outer fibrous pericardium. See, this is the outer pericardium, outer fibrous pericardium, and inner serous pericardium. This is inner serous pericardium. So here, serous pericardium is again two layers. We can observe this layer of serous pericardium is the inner layer, and this layer of the serous pericardium is the outer layer. Between these two layers of serous pericardium, a space is present called pericardial space or pericardial cavity. So serous pericardium is again double layered. The outer layer is called as parietal layer and the inner layer is called as visceral layer. So parietal pericardium, visceral pericardium separated by a space or cavity. This cavity is called pericardial cavity. So pericardial cavity is a space present between the parietal pericardium and visceral pericardium. See here, outer parietal layer is fused with the fibrous pericardium, inner visceral layer is adheres to the surface of the heart and forms outer layer epicardium. So these fibrous pericardium and parietal layer both fuse and forms epicardium. Epicardium is the outer wall of the heart. Parietal layer and fibrous pericardium both fuse to form epicardium. So these two fuse form epicardium. See here we can observe pericardial space. This pericardial space filled with a fluid called pericardial fluid. That pericardial fluid helpful to gives frictionless sliding to the heart, or which protect the heart from the external shocks and jerks. See pericardial space. The space present between the two layers is called pericardial space or pericardial cavity. Between the parietal pericardium and the visceral pericardium, a space is present. This space is called as pericardial space or pericardial cavity. This space is filled with a pericardial fluid. This pericardial fluid secreted from the serous pericardium. That means both parietal layer and visceral layer constitute serous pericardium. This parietal layer and visceral layer secretes secretions called pericardial fluid. That pericardial fluid secreted into the cavity. This fluid reduces friction from the two membranes and allows free movement of the heart. Frictionless sliding, free movement of the two wall layers of the serous pericardium due to presence of this pericardial fluid. So walls of the heart wall, outer epicardium, middle myocardium, inner endocardium. See visceral layer of the serous pericardium. Visceral layer of the serous pericardium is considered as epicardium. Middle layer of the middle wall of the heart is called as myocardium, made up of cardiac muscle, and the innermost layer of the heart wall is called as endocardium. See outer epicardium made up of epithelium, middle myocardium is made up of a thick cardiac muscle, and inner endocardium made up of thin endothelium. Here endothelium covers the heart valves also. Heart valves like the valves which are present inside the heart, that also lined by endothelium and continues with the endothelial lining of the large blood vessels connected to the heart, like aortas, arteries, veins, which connected to the heart walls. That endothelial lining is present in the blood vessels also, which connected to the heart. The external structure of the heart. Human heart has 4-chambered heart. So these 4 chambers externally separated by grooves. See in this 2 smaller chambers are upper chambers. Upper chambers are right atrium and left atrium. These 2 chambers are upper chambers. Upper chambers are smaller chambers called atria. Atria, right side right atrium, left side left atrium. Like 2 larger chambers are called lower chambers. Lower chambers are called ventricles. So smaller upper chambers atria, larger lower chambers ventricles. Both atria and ventricles are separated by a groove called atrioventricular groove that we can see. See atria and ventricles are separated by a transverse groove called coronary sulcus or atrioventricular groove. We can observe human heart externally. This human heart, both atria and ventricles externally separated. We can observe these are atria, right atrium, and these are ventricles, right ventricle, like left atrium, left ventricle. Here atria and ventricles are separated by a groove. This groove is called as coronary sulcus. So coronary sulcus is a groove that separates both atria and ventricles. This coronary sulcus are atrioventricular groove. The muscular pouch-like projections from each atrium called as auricular appendage. Externally, atrium contains some muscular pouch-like projections are present. This muscular pouch-like projections present on the outer surface of the atria called as auricular appendix. Auricular appendix is a muscular pouch-like projections present on the atria. Same way, ventricles, right ventricle, left ventricle also separated. Right atrium, left atrium separated. Right ventricle, left ventricle also separated. Here, both right atrium, left atrium separated by a groove, interatrial groove. Same way, right ventricle, left ventricle also separated by a groove, interventricular groove. See, both ventricles are separated by two interventricular grooves. You can tell two interventricular grooves separates the ventricles. So the two interventricular grooves where coronary arteries and their branches are lodged in that interventricular grooves externally. So external morphology, we can observe two atria separated by grooves, interatrial groove. Two ventricles are separated by a groove, interventricular. There are two interventricular grooves separates ventricles. In this, we can observe coronary arteries and their branches are large. We can observe coronary arteries and their branches are large in this interventricular. Internal structure of the heart. Internally, heart is separated into four chambers. You can observe internal structure of the heart. Internally, heart separate into four chambers. Upper two separated, lower two atria, right atrium, and this is left atrium. So right atrium, left atrium, externally separated by interatrial groove, internally separated by interatrial septum. See, interatrial septum. This is interatrial septum. See, these two chambers are smaller chambers. Upper chambers are relatively smaller when we compare with the ventricles. That's why these two chambers are upper, smaller chambers. Atria are thin walled. Their walls of the atria are thin. The thin walled chambers. So these chambers receive blood from body parts. That means right atrium receives blood from all parts of the body except lungs. Left atrium receives blood from the lungs. That's why both atria receive blood from the body. So that's why atria are considered as blood receiving chambers. You can tell blood receiving chambers are atria. See, blood receiving chambers. Two atria separated by thin interatrial septum. In the fetal heart, the atrial septum has a small pore called foramen ovale. Here, this atrial septum, interatrial septum, during fetal stage, which has a small pore. The pore which is present during fetal stage, that pore is called as foramen ovale. So, foramen ovale is present during fetal stage. During fetal stage only you can observe that foramen ovale. That foramen ovale closes at birth, and it is represented as a depression after closed. That depression is called as fossa ovalis. If foramen ovale not closes properly, that we can tell patent foramen ovale. So like we can observe, during fetal stage, atrial septum, interatrial septum has a small pore which helpful to direct the blood from the right atrium to left atrium directly. So during fetal stage, which has a small pore called foramen ovale. Normally, foramen ovale closes at birth when lungs becomes functional. When lungs becomes functional, this foramen ovale closes, because before we can observe blood is purified, oxygenated in the fetal chest by the presence of placenta. Due to formation of lungs, when the lungs becomes functional, generally lungs functional after birth. That's why when the lungs becomes functional at the time of birth, foramen ovale closes. If foramen ovale closes, that we can tell that is a depression is present in that region. That depression is called as fossa ovalis. If foramen ovale is not closes properly, that called patent foramen ovale. Patent foramen ovale, foramen ovale is not closes properly. The right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from the different parts of the body except lungs through 3 caval veins. We can observe atria, blood receiving chambers. Here, right atrium, which receive blood through caval veins. There are 2 precaval veins and 1 postcaval vein. So we can observe superior vena cava are precaval veins, inferior vena cava are postcaval veins. See, 2 precaval veins. There are 2 precaval veins or superior vena cava which collect blood from all parts of the body like head, neck and thorax. Inferior vena cava receives blood from the lower parts like abdomen and legs or hind limbs. So superior vena cava, inferior vena cava all collect blood and opens into right atrium. So this is right atrium. So blood collected by the veins and opens into right atrium. So here you can observe right atrium receives deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood collected from all parts of the body except lungs, because lungs were oxygenated or blood is purified. Purified blood is collected by the veins. That veins we can tell pulmonary veins. Here these all precaval veins, superior vena cava 2, 1 postcaval vein, inferior vena cava, that all collect blood from all parts of the body except lungs. So here which collect blood and opens into right atrium. Same way Along with that body parts, heart wall also contains some blood vessels. That means heart wall, from the heart wall blood is collected by the coronary sinus. We can tell this deoxygenated blood receives blood from the myocardium through coronary sinus. Through the coronary sinus, blood collected from the myocardium of the heart, and that coronary sinus also opens into right atrium. So coronary sinus, which blood vessels are present over the walls of the heart, especially which collect blood from the myocardium and opens into right atrium. That means all deoxygenated blood collected by right atrium. So right atrium collects deoxygenated. Here the coronary sinus opens into right atrium. This coronary sinus is guarded by a valve. The valve that guards coronary sinus. You can tell the valve that guards coronary sinus is called as valve of Trebesius. Trebesius valve. This Trebesius valve that guards the coronary sinus opening. That means opening of the coronary sinus into the right atrium. It is guarded by a valve called as Trebesius valve. Same way we can observe here the opening of superior vena cava into the right atrium. That means precaval veins opens into right atrium. That precaval vein is not guarded by any valves. There is no valves into the opening of superior vena cava. No valves are present to this opening of superior vena cava. Same way, inferior vena cava also guarded by a valve. The valve that guards inferior vena cava is called as Eustachian valve. Eustachian valve guards the opening of inferior vena cava. Eustachian valve. You can observe Eustachian valve, where the opening of inferior vena cava into right atrium. So inferior vena cava into right atrium is guarded by a valve called Eustachian valve. So this Eustachian valve during embryonic stage, it is functional. It directs the blood from the right atrium into the left atrium through opening called foramen ovale. After Eustachian valve after birth is non-functional. That's why Eustachian valve is functional before birth or during fetal stage, which is helpful to direct the blood through the foramen ovale from the right atrium to left atrium. The opening of postcaval vein is guarded by a valve. That means inferior vena cava guarded by a valve called inferior vena cava valve. The valve of inferior vena cava are also called as Eustachian valve. So it directs the blood to the left atrium through the foramen ovale during fetal stage. But in the adult it becomes rudimentary and non-functional. That means first Eustachian valve is functional during embryonic stage and non-functional after birth. The opening of precanal veins into the right atrium have no valves. We discussed that there is no valves to the opening of superior vena cava. Inferior vena cava contains eustachian valve. Coronary sinus opening contains sebaceous valve, but superior vena cava opening does not guarded by any valve. The left atrium receives blood from each lungs. When we see right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from all parts of the body, same way left atrium blood oxygenated blood from the lungs through pulmonary veins. That means from each lungs we can observe a pair of lungs. From each lung pulmonary veins, two pulmonary veins collect oxygenated blood and opens into left atrium. So like there are four pulmonary veins which collect blood and opens into left atrium. Here we can observe left atrium receives oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood received by the left atrium from the lungs through pulmonary veins. There are two pulmonary veins collect blood from each lung. So about four pulmonary veins collect blood from the lungs through pulmonary veins which opens from the lungs into left atrium. So like we can observe left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the lungs. See, atria and ventricles are separated by a membranous atrioventricular septum. We can observe atria, ventricles are separated by a septum called atrioventricular septum. This atrioventricular septum separates atria and ventricles. You can observe this is atrioventricular septum. This atrioventricular septum possesses apertures, openings are present. That means right atrium opens into right ventricle. This right atrium opens into right ventricle. Right ventricle. This right atrium opens into right ventricle by an aperture. Same way, left atrium that opens into left ventricle by an aperture. These apertures are considered as atrioventricular apertures. Here, right atrium opens into right ventricle by an aperture that is guarded by a valve called as tricuspid valve. We can observe three cusps are present. So right atrium opens into right ventricle. This right atrium opens into right ventricle that is guarded by a valve. This aperture is guarded by a valve called as tricuspid valve. Same way, left atrium opens into left ventricle that is guarded by a valve called as bicuspid valve. This bicuspid valve also called as mitral valve. Tricuspid valve between the opening of right atrium into right ventricle. Bicuspid valve is an aperture valve that present between the left atrium and left ventricle.